If you have been feeling tired, emotionally heavy, or as though life looks fine on the outside but doesn't feel quite right on the inside, this conversation may be for you. Because sometimes a better life doesn't begin with adding more, it begins with stopping a few things that are quietly stealing your peace. Hello, my dear friends, and welcome. If you are new here, I'm so happy you found your way to this channel today. And if you are one of my returning friends, thank you so much for coming back and spending this time with me. It truly means so much to me, and I never take your presence here for granted. Today, I want to talk with you about something very simple on the surface, but very life-changing when we really understand it. And that is this. Stop doing these 5 things if you want a better life. Now, when I say a better life, I do not mean a perfect life. I don't mean a glamorous life or a life with no hardships, no disappointments, no aging, no losses, and no unexpected turns. Because if we live long enough, we know that life will always contain some of those things. What I mean by a better life is a life that feels lighter. A life with more peace in it, a life with more truth in it, a life where you do not feel as though you are constantly fighting yourself, disappointing yourself, draining yourself, or giving your precious energy to things that only leave you tired. And I think one of the greatest lessons we learn as we get older is this. Sometimes a better life does not begin with adding more. Sometimes it begins with stopping certain habits, stopping certain ways of thinking, stopping certain patterns that may have once helped us cope but no longer help us live well. So today I want to share 5 things I truly believe we must stop doing if we want a better life. And as always, when we finish, I would love for you to tell me in the comments which one spoke to you the most, or if there is one more you would add from your own experience. Your comments are always so thoughtful and heartfelt, and I know they encourage other women too. So let's begin. Number 1. Stop waiting for life to begin. This is such a big one. I think many people, and especially many women, spend years living in when. When the children are older, when the marriage gets better, when the finances are better, when I lose the weight, when I have more confidence, when I move, when I retire, when things calm down, when life finally makes room for me. And before you know it, years have gone by. Now, of course, real life does have seasons. There are times when we truly do have obligations and responsibilities that require patience. I understand that. But some people get so used to postponing themselves that they forget they are doing it. They put off joy, they put off rest, they put off change. They put off the class, the friendship, the trip, the hobby, the difficult conversation, the healthier habit, the new beginning. And often the reason sounds very sensible. It's just not the right time. But sometimes that becomes a way of staying asleep inside your own life. I have come to believe that one of the saddest things is not always failure. Often it is delay. Delay for so long that you slowly stop expecting anything beautiful for yourself at all. And that is no way to live. If you want a better life, stop treating your real life like it is still waiting somewhere in the future. This is your life. This morning is your life. This ordinary week is your life. This season, however imperfect, is your life. A better life may not begin with some grand dramatic leap. Often it begins with one small act of participation, making the appointment, taking the walk, cleaning the room, joining the group, answering the invitation, starting the savings, signing up for the course, saying yes to one thing that makes you feel a little more alive, or saying no to one thing that has kept you stuck for years. Please do not wait forever to begin living more honestly. Life is not hiding from you in some perfect future. It is asking to be lived now, with what you have, where you are, and with whatever courage you can gather today. Number 2, stop saying yes when your spirit is saying no. Now this one can change everything. So many women have been taught to be agreeable, accommodating, kind, helpful, flexible, available, and endlessly understanding. And those qualities can be beautiful, truly beautiful, when they come from freedom. But when they come from fear, guilt, or the inability to disappoint anyone, they become very expensive. How many times have we said yes when we meant no? Yes, I can do that. Yes, that's fine. Yes, don't worry about me. Yes, I'll handle it. Yes, I'll come. Yes, I understand. Yes, it's all right. And meanwhile, inside, we feel tired, or uneasy, or resentful, or just quietly heavy. And the trouble is, every time we say yes to something that violates our energy, our limits, our values, or our peace, we are saying no to ourselves. That cost does not always show up immediately. Sometimes it shows up later as exhaustion, as irritability, as emotional distance, as tears over small things that are not really about that small thing at all. They are about the accumulation of self-betrayal. Now, I'm not saying we should become selfish or unkind, not at all. Love asks things of us. Family asks things of us. Friendship asks things of us. There are times when we stretch for others, and that is part of being a decent human being. But if your entire life is built around overextending yourself so that no one else ever has to feel disappointed, then something is wrong. A better life requires honest boundaries. It requires pausing before you answer. It requires letting, "Let me think about it," become a real sentence in your life. It requires accepting that other people may not always like your limits. It requires understanding that discomfort is not always danger. Sometimes discomfort is simply what honesty feels like at first. And perhaps one of the most peaceful things a woman can learn is this: I do not have to explain every boundary in great detail in order for it to be valid. No can be kind. No can be dignified. No can protect what matters. If you want a better life, stop giving away your peace in the form of automatic yeses. Number 3, stop carrying old bitterness as if it belongs in your future. This is a hard one because pain is real. People hurt us. Life disappoints us. Dreams fall apart. Promises are broken. Families can wound us. Partners can fail us. Friends can betray us. Circumstances can leave scars we did not ask for. So when I say stop carrying bitterness, I do not mean pretend you were not hurt. I do not mean deny what happened. And I certainly do not mean put yourself back into harmful situations and call that forgiveness. What I mean is this: do not let old pain rent permanent space in your spirit. I have known people who have carried one old injury for years, sometimes decades, and although the original event may have ended long ago, it continues to live in them every day. They rehearse it, they feed it, they revisit it, they build identity around it, and slowly it begins to color everything. Their joy becomes harder to access. Their face tightens. Their body carries tension. Their mind stays in the past even while life is asking them to be present. Their future becomes smaller because they are still emotionally living inside an old wound. That is such a heavy way to live. If you want a better life, there comes a time when you must ask yourself, is holding on to this still protecting me, or is it poisoning me? That is a difficult question, but a necessary one. Forgiveness is not always immediate. Sometimes it is a process. Sometimes it comes in layers. Sometimes it means simply deciding that this pain will no longer be the center of your inner life. And that is a powerful decision. Because when bitterness sits on the throne of the heart, it affects everything: your peace, your health, your relationships, your sleep, your ability to trust life again, even your ability to enjoy simple pleasures. Please don't misunderstand me. Some hurts are deep. Some stories are painful. Some wrongs never should have happened. But your life still deserves more than endless inner replay. A better life asks us to loosen our grip on what is over so we can receive what is still possible. Not because the past did not matter, but because your future matters too. Number 4, stop ignoring your own inner voice. Oh, this one is so important. How many times in life have you felt something deep down and ignored it? You knew something was off. You knew someone was not right for you. You knew you were too tired. You knew that situation was draining you. You knew your body needed attention. You knew your heart was not in it. You knew you needed to leave or pause or speak or change or rest. But instead of listening, you overrode yourself. Why do we do that? Sometimes because we were taught not to trust ourselves. Sometimes because we want to be liked. Sometimes because we are afraid of the consequences of truth. Sometimes because we have become so used to putting everyone else first that we no longer recognize our own signals as urgent. But your inner voice is not there to inconvenience you. It is there to guide you. Your intuition, your nervous system, your fatigue, your quiet unease, your deep longing, your repeated inner nudge that says, "This is not right," or "This matters," or "Pay attention." These things are not nuisances. They are information. And yet so many women keep silencing themselves. They talk themselves out of what they know. They explain away their own discomfort. They minimize their own needs. They dismiss what their body and spirit have been saying for years. Then one day they wake up exhausted, confused, resentful, or unwell, and they wonder how they got there. If you want a better life, begin listening to yourself more honestly. Not every fear is intuition, of course. We have to grow in discernment. But over time, you do begin to know the difference between panic and truth, between anxiety and inner wisdom. And what a beautiful thing it is when you become a woman who can trust herself. A woman who listens when her body says, "Slow down." A woman who listens when her spirit says, "This is not good for me." A woman who listens when joy says, "Come this way." A woman who no longer abandons herself in order to appear easy, agreeable, or unbothered. That kind of self-trust creates peace. It creates clarity. It creates a stronger life from the inside out. So if you want a better life, stop overriding what you already know in your heart. Number 5, stop living by other people's opinions. Now this one may be the hardest for many people, but it is one of the most freeing. So much of human suffering comes from trying to manage how we are seen. What do they think of me? Do they approve? Do I look all right? Am I doing enough? Do they think I've failed? Will they judge me if I start over? Will they criticize me if I change? Will they think I'm selfish if I choose differently? Will they understand? And before long, we are no longer living from truth. We are living from performance. We dress for approval. We stay in situations too long for appearances. We keep silent because honesty might upset someone. We apologize for our needs. We hide our individuality. We compare our lives constantly. We measure ourselves against people whose private struggles we know nothing about. What a tiring way to live. The truth is, if you live honestly, some people will not understand you. If you change, some people will be uncomfortable. If you stop overgiving, some people will call you different. If you choose peace, some people may call you distant. If you become more yourself, some people may prefer the older version of you that required less from them. But that does not mean you are doing life wrong. It may simply mean you are no longer willing to disappear in order to be approved of. I think one of the great gifts of getting older is that we slowly begin to understand how little other people's opinions should govern the quality of our days. You do not need universal applause to have a meaningful life. You do not need everyone to approve of your boundaries. You do not need every person to understand your choices. You do not need to keep shrinking so others can remain comfortable. What matters is whether your life feels true to you, whether your spirit can rest inside the choices you are making, whether you can live with integrity and still like your own company at the end of the day. If you want a better life, stop asking the crowd for permission to become yourself. That permission was never theirs to give. So, my dear friends, if you want a better life, stop doing these 5 things. Stop waiting for life to begin. Stop saying yes when your spirit is saying no. Stop carrying old bitterness into your future. Stop ignoring your own inner voice. And stop living by other people's opinions. Now, have any of us done these things? Of course we have. We are human. We learn slowly sometimes. Life teaches us in layers. We do the best we can with the awareness we have at the time. So this is not about guilt. It is about awakening. It is about realizing that perhaps a better life is not as far away as you think. Perhaps it begins with what you finally decide to stop tolerating, stop rehearsing, stop postponing, stop explaining, and stop doing to yourself. Sometimes better begins with less. Less self-betrayal, less fear, less bitterness, less pretending, less noise, less living for the eyes of others. And in that space, something beautiful can begin to grow. More peace, more truth, more self-respect, more gentleness, more clarity, more life. And I think that is a very hopeful thing. Thank you so much for being here with me today. If this conversation touched your heart, I would love for you to tell me in the comments which one of these 5 things you think steals the most peace from women, or which one you personally have been working on in this season of life. Your comments are always so wise and so comforting to this whole community, and I always love hearing from you. And until next time, please do something kind for yourself today. Sit in the quiet for a few moments. Open a window. Make a lovely cup of tea. Say no to one draining thing. Say yes to one nourishing thing. And remind yourself that a better life often begins with one honest decision. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this message spoke to your heart, I'd love for you to share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you know someone who may need this conversation right now, please share this video with them. Take gentle care of yourself today, and I hope to see you in my next video.